Hi, this is Pam with Follow Your Brush, and I am coming to you this morning from beautiful Georgia. It's actually starting to get a little bit chillier, so we're beginning to tiptoe into fall. And speaking of tiptoe into fall, this is a painting that I did called Tiptoeing into Fall. I did it with my new Michael Harding paints. This is another version I did of the same scene with my new Michael Harding watercolors. I am enjoying these. I know I often talk about different paints that I'm trying and liking. I'm still on these Michael Harding paints though, because I don't feel swatching is enough. I feel like you need to paint with them, and I've been painting with them at least a month. Anything that was done in September, I did with my Michael Harding paints. I paint every day, for good or ill. And I appreciate you coming along with me. Follow your brush. The brush I'm using today, actually, by the way, is my Levinson Goat Hair and Synthetic Medium Bamboo Wangi Handle from Tracy Levinson. I'll put the link in the description. I do almost all my painting with this brush because it's so versatile and it has this beautiful tip. So let's go, shall we? I already did a video on this top row, and I believe on the bottom row as well. I have added some new ones, but I want to just share with you some of my favorites that I have found. Now, I know a lot of times people swatch on maybe less expensive watercolor paper. I just don't do that. I guess I'm kind of a purist. When it comes to watercolor paper, if I'm going to be trying and playing with a watercolor, I also want to use not only the good paint, but the good paper. So I'm doing this on an Arches, and I'm going to show you some of the blues that I have. I keep dipping my thing in. This is the lapis lazuli. I'm going to do it wet on wet, and then I'm also going to do a wet on dry. Now, these, when they come out, here's what I'm hearing from people in my group. When you first take them out of the tube, they're very thick and syrupy. Somebody said it's almost like molasses, or they do have honey in the binder. Someone else told me that they don't set up and they don't dry. But here's what I do. I just put these in here this weekend, but I don't close my palette. I leave it open to the air to let them air dry. And look, they're slightly tacky, but they're not wet. See? So I think that might be helpful to somebody. All right, there's the wet on wet. And now let's do a wet on dry. This obviously is quite granulating as well. These re-wet beautifully, super, super pigmented, super pigmented. So you don't want to overdo when you're painting. You got to be really careful. They also lift well and they glaze well. But when you're lifting and when you're glazing, do be careful because they do lift. So be careful of that. This one is called Vivid Blue. Oh, let me do the wet on dry first. I did not wet a spot. It's kind of a teal color. Also, obviously very opaque. Pretty color for, I've been using it in some for water. I've used a little bit in skies, just playing. Do this one. This is my wet on wet. So there's my Vivid Blue. And I like that one as well. I thought it was almost a teal, but it's not. This is Cerulean Blue, and I know I spelled that wrong, but just let's do some wet here first. We'll do that one as a circle. And there we go. Also looks like it might have a little granulation to it. And And let's do the wet on dry. I'm really enjoying these paints, and there is something different about them. I'm not sure what it is. He said, I watched an interview by Michael Hardy, and there are tons of things that you can watch online with swatching and people comparing them to other paints. I'm not here to compare them to other paints. I just kind of want to know what they do for me and what I can expect. So I'm not especially going to check these out against other paints for you in a video because you can watch that elsewhere. I just want to know what they do. This next one is one of my favorite colors in any collection, and this is Indanthrone Blue. And again, I'm doing the kind of has a turquoise. Oh, that's because it's because I dipped into the wrong one. Sorry. This is Caribbean turquoise. Erase, 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 erase. There you go. You can see what it does. It's not Indanthrone Blue. It's Caribbean turquoise. Pretty color, though. We try again. Here's Indanthrone Blue. This is a wet on dry of Indanthrone Blue. I'm not going to stop my video and start over, but y'all just have to be patient with me, okay? And then let's do some wet on wet with the Indanthrone Blue. Really pretty. I love this blue color. So there you go. There's your Indanthrone Blue. Let's move down, shall we? This one is Phthalo Blue Red Shade. This is the wet on wet. Wet on dry. And this is your wet on wet. Oh, that really runs nicely. Do you see how that ran? Really pretty. Oh gosh, that's a pretty color. Now I added the indigo on this with the blue shades simply because the indigo is quite blue, actually. Now I just poured these 2 days ago, and you can see they don't need re-wetting. It's a beautiful indigo for night skies or to darken shadows or whatever. Do some wet on wet here. Look, that also runs, look how that runs beautifully. There's your wet on wet. I ordered another color called Cosmic Blue just because I wanted to see what it was. So here's my Cosmic Blue. It kind of reminds me of a kind of a Payne's Gray almost, with a little bit of blue to it. Let's do some wet on wet here. Cosmic Blue. I like that as well. And then here's where I meant to put my Caribbean turquoise. And I'll do it again, this time on purpose. Caribbean turquoise. I did not blot my brush first, so I have too much water. Soak some of that up. That's wet on dry. Do a little bit of wet on wet for you. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I can see this in water, beach scenes. Look how pretty that indigo is as it's drying. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure what's different about this, but there is something different. Now, I do have a few Quins. He has more quinacridone colors than what I have ordered, but you know, I'm slowly getting there. This is his Quin Gold. I think I would love Quin Gold in any collection by any brand, anybody, anywhere, because I just love Quin Gold. And now that fall is coming, what a wonderful time to be using Quin Gold in anything, right? Let's do the wet on wet. I did notice yesterday I was doing a painting with, I was just playing with some of my new colors with the Quin Bronze. And I had already put some other colors down on my painting. And when I came in over it with the Quin Bronze, it's very pushy, as we like to say. And it pushed the other colors right out of the way. So let me show you the Quin Bronze. This is the Quin Bronze. Like I say, I just got this a couple days ago. So they've been sitting for 2 days in open air. Here's your Quin Bronze. Isn't that pretty? And now let's do a wet on wet. Beautiful. Then I have a new color that I just got that I have not even tried in a painting yet. And this is Quin Coral. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use this as yet. I just thought it was pretty, so I ordered it. You know how that is. So there's the Quin Coral. We do a little wet spot here and see how that runs. I'm sure it'll probably run beautifully. Yeah. Ooh, look at that go. Yeah. Really pretty. Then I also have Quin Rose, which I have been using. That one's up here. I have used this to mix with my purple, mix with my blues and make a purple shade. And it's really pretty. I love Quin Rose. Well, I just love quinacridone colors. Let's do a little wet on wet here, and we'll see how that does. There you go. Whew. I'm gonna let this sit aside and dry for a minute, and let's go to this page. This is some of my favorite blends. That's what I wanted to show you because I have been working with these exclusively for the month of September. This original palette that I got is the one that I've been using the most because I've had it the longest, I guess, and I've just kind of gotten used to that. But one of my favorite blends is taking my lapis lazuli and my burnt sienna. And I'm going to move this for a second so I have a little mixing spot. And just show you what I've been doing. This is a new palette, so it's going to beat up. But this makes, I guess, just the same as if you were to do with your, like an ultramarine and burnt sienna. It gives you a nice neutral, nice gray neutral. This has become one of my favorite blends, actually. The other one that I have been doing is the lapis lazuli and my raw umber. Little different. It's also a nice shadow shade. Probably too much water in that, but that's just me. Now let me show you what else I discovered. Rose Madder. It's an interesting shade. It's similar, it reminds me a little bit of my Potter's Pink, but not. If that makes sense. It's the Rose Madder and the Burnt Sienna. And I found that these two actually make a great flesh tone. Here's my Rose Madder. And here's my Burnt Sienna. Oh, a little bit too much there. Let me add some more Rose Madder. Okay, I was not gonna do like I'm telling you when I want to do it. I'm also finding with Michael Harding paints, sometimes they do best blending on the paper rather than in the palette. So let's try that. So see if I were to do a flesh tone right now. I have been doing some, just playing around. Put the rose madder on first. Then I go into a little bit of my burnt sienna. And see, that's more of a flesh tone for my family members anyway. And then that dries really nicely. And you can see this just kind of as you water it down, you can lighten it. So you get that kind of get that nice base flesh tone before you add any shadows to your people, if you're so inclined to do people. But I think that makes a nice shade there. Another one that I found that I've been playing with that I really, really like. This time I'm going to do on the paper to show you what I'm talking about. Here's your raw umber. Raw umber. I'm going to make this bigger, obviously. And then my Indathrone blue. Now look at the nice neutral I'm going to get when I do these two. Here's my raw umber. Let me give it a little bit more here. Look at that pretty shade. Oh, gosh, I really love these. Makes nice, similar to this up here with the lapis lazuli and the burnt sienna. But I really like that one. And I have been just kind of dipping like that. And, oh, wow, got way too much. Like I'm saying, these are very, very pigmented. So if they're wet, look out. See that? Look at that. That's almost, look how pretty that color is. So if you're painting, if you're doing your painting and you want to kind of stay in the harmonious colors, you blend these and together for your mixtures, you're going to find that you get nice harmony. Here's another one that might surprise you. This is what he calls belladonna. And I love this color. He said he created this because it reminded him of a plant when he was growing up in the UK. They had these purple berries, but they were extremely poisonous. But the color was so pretty. And then I'm going to mix this with my Indathrone. Look how much, I just barely touched this. Look how much pigment. That's one of the things about these paints that is really interesting. All right, look at this beautiful combo. Here's my Indathrone, a little bit lighter, a little watered down. Let me add some of this belladonna. Oh, and actually it says moss green. That's what I was going to show you. I'm not even looking at my own notes. I'm getting carried away. Okay, moss green. Moss green. Here's your moss green, which I also like. I've been using a lot. Kind of reminds me of a green gold. Now, I've been doing some landscapes, and I've got the moss green, and I've got the hooker's green. Put some of that here. These two also make a nice blend. You know, I can't even do this without getting sidetracked, can I? My hooker's green and my moss green makes a nice combination. All right, now I'm going to add some belladonna. And one of the pictures that I just did, see how it gives me a nice shadow for my landscapes? One of the paintings that I just did of the, this one, the tiptoeing into fall, I did that combination down in here. There's another one I did in my sketchbook, same reference photo, but I did come back in with the belladonna, and then I also came in with some Quin Rose and dib-dab that in there too. So I have just really been enjoying playing with these. I was going to show you some of the new colors that I've gotten. I did get a scarlet red. Cat hair off of there. I got a, this is Pazuli red. It's kind of a orangey ochre type of color. This is called Red Ochre of France. And actually these two colors are quite similar. This one looks like it might be a little granulating as it dries out. I already showed you the Quin Bronze. I also got Earth of Cyprus. Nice brown. I already showed you the indigo. I also got this neutral gray. Sorry, I don't have the pigment numbers right here, but as you can tell, that one has a opaque quality to it. So it probably has PW6 in it somewhere. Viridian. This is kind of a pretty Viridian. Sometimes Viridian is too Viridian. I don't know how else to say it. This is my Quin Rose, which I already showed you. It's a pretty color. And this one, he said he named Purple Haze just for those that were teenagers in their 60s. Purple Haze, it's a beautiful color. And it looks like it's also kind of granulating. And then I showed you when I was showing you the blues, this is Cosmic Blue. Also very nice. So I'm still playing with these and probably will be for quite some time because I want to just keep, it's not enough to swatch them. You have to play with them, lift them, blend them, throw them together. I did this one the other night, not even trying. I was just throwing colors on here, letting them drip and run, and too much water, going back, adding blooms on purpose, splashing water, etc. You name it, I did it to this painting, and then I just let it dry. But the next day I thought it really came out pretty. This is all Michael Harding, and this was just strictly playtime. So you do have blooms because I did that on purpose. It wasn't the paint's fault. It was me. I just was doing that just to see. And this was also on less expensive paper. And I just wanted to see what it would do. But then my daughter, the next morning, she said, Mom, I really like this. I let it just kind of run down in here and didn't try to do anything with it. So that's my little Michael Harding tour for today. Later, I may walk you through a painting that I've been doing. We might do this, I think I might do a video on this tiptoeing through fall and kind of show you how I approached it and went about painting this with the Michael Harding paints. They are wonderful. I recommend them 100%. As far as the consistency, a little dab will do you. Let me say that much. I only put a dollop in. This, I know this looks like a heavy-duty dollop, but I don't totally fill the pans on purpose. And then I just leave them out to air dry, and they do beautifully. And I've been using them every day, and they're not running anywhere or anything like that. So thank you for watching. I will give you the link for the brush as well. Tracy Levinson-paintbrushes.com. My favorite brush. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching and following and subscribing and all those things that people do on YouTube. This is Pam. Bye for now.